Hi friends, so today I want to show you a mighty Opal by FORS. I know I'm jumping a bit late to this party, but I just got my hands on this amazing device and I just thought I will give you a quick overview of how this sounds, what is possible. So you're hearing some patch I did. I'm just having a basic kick here. And I will show you some few other examples which I did while preparing to this tutorial, so you get a glance of how this device sounds, and then we will get into the details, every specific track, and then I will show you some tricks how to make it work for Hypnotic Techno. So stay with me till the end because I will have a little bonus at the end for you as well. Alright, so let me show you a few projects I did while working on preparing this tutorial. So these are all the Opal sounds. I bring pretty wicked. Then again, only a bit is from the sample. Then all those samples are. Then this one. Such a creative tool. I was able to get so many different sounds and it was really fun to play with. And then I really like this one. So many. Alright, so let's dig in and see this device in detail. Alright, so this is Opal at the first glance. You have 5 individual tracks here comprising of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different instruments and devices. Before we jump into the synthesizers, let's briefly talk about sequencers. So this is a sequencer where you just add a note by pressing, and then you see it already gives you a note C3 and gives you a velocity which I can manipulate by just hovering down and hovering up over the thing. So then we have different pages, so you can have up to 8 pages per one pattern. And in this pattern we can also change the notes, so just hovering over up and down. We can go and set probability for each note to play. We can have modulators, which are how many times do you want this pattern to play. So if I will play this page 5 times, this one will play only on the first time, or I can change, maybe only play it on the 4th time. Then we have this thing which is ratcheting, which is like a trrrt. It will just repeat this note 3 times in this instance. So let's just play this pattern once, and we don't have that one, so let's add, and then maybe let's. So yeah, if I'm playing like 16th notes, I could play, like, for example, now I'm playing 8 notes, and this one is played as a 16th note. I can have different metrums, different division, metrum, and different length, which gives me a polymeter kind of possibility to play polymeters, but let's come back to 16th. Then again we have this nudging, and then we have this one, which is parameter lock, which is the most interesting part, as it allows us to set different values of the sequencer, and I will show you that in the second, per each step, per each note, which is really handy and totally opens up the sound design possibilities for the pattern. So if we would take a look at the pattern, yeah, let's come back to the 1-1. Let's have some beat as well. Let's just have kick. And then let's have like this on page 1. For example, we want to maybe change the feedback. Now we will change for all the notes, but if we want to just make it for the one note, you see when I hover over or change this pattern, it's just a matter of clicking. You see the name here changes and I'm able to set the feedback for just this one note. And I can, yeah, you can hear that. Let's add some. Yeah, so I can do that with many different parameters. Let's come back to the first page. So I'm setting up the mod depth. Maybe I want to have some notes shorter. Now it's too short. Maybe add some noise. Add some contour. Now this pattern is being more alive because of the parameters lock. So I'll come back to the parameters lock in a sec, but that's just basic of the sequencer. And one thing I've noticed is that it's really handy to work in this manner, as is something that we are not, maybe it is possible in Ableton, like if you would use automation per each step, but it's just more handy and different way of working. And I think this opens up new creative possibilities, but just having that slider and then setting up some parameter. So sequencer, I really like it, and with different steps, like I just change it here and gives me a new step. If I want to copy the whole page, so I just click Control, Command, and then Alt, and I have the same page. The same is with the triggers, so with all those bits. So if I just press Command and click, then Alt and click, and I'm duplicating the same trigger with all its trigger locks. All right, so let's switch to the synthesizer. So Jam is, as you can hear, classic FM synths. So let's just, so what we have here is like this, it's a simple note, then we are adding another waveform that modulates it. Yeah, it's a which chords. Pretty standard, but then we can add this modulation. So this is pretty much as with operator, you would increase the volume of the modulator. We can change its phase, and I like how it's visualized here. And this is a drum synth, so it's programmed that way that you always get this nice click, nice transient at the start. So when you change phasing or modulation and so on, you don't have to worry about it that much, because it's programmed that way that it always will give you this nice transient to work with. Contour, this modulates the contour of the modulation. And this is separate from envelope. If I just, now this modulation stays with us. Feedback, classical feedback, so the modulation feedbacks itself. We can add some noise. This is the envelope, and this is the level of that noise. And classic envelope, amp envelope. Again, we can add pitch envelope also to this. And if I want to, now I'm having really really short pitch envelope, and I can change its length here. Now it's here is the tuning, so kind of like a unisono style. Super interesting, and each synth has this kind of modulation tab where we can add modulation per each parameter, or we can have LFO modulating, modulation envelope, which can cycle through. LFO can be just re-triggered or run in a free mode. So let's add a bit LFO to the tuning. For example, we can like change the LFO shape, and we have that a bit of glide, which I really like. Ooh. Let's make this a bit longer. And add some randomness to modulation level. Then modulation feedback, we can add it to modulation envelope. We can, all those bits we can also add to the triggers. So when we go to triggers and then, for example, click here on the tuning, then we can add like random tuning to only the specific trigger, increase the envelope, for example, for this one. And now this gets really funky and really crazy and super interesting in my opinion. And I just love how playable this sound is. So if you just add a different audio channel and you just record yourself playing, there's like so many things and so many interesting sounds you can get out of this. It's such a simple sequence, but I'm able to get so many sounds. Like let's modulate, for example, the rate of the LFO by, yeah, let's add the attack on sound. I don't know, it's whenever you, maybe something. Alright, so this is Jam, super fun to play with, really intuitive and playable. Let's go to the second one, which is called Mass, and Mass is a modal synth. And modal synths are physical modeling synths, which an idea was to model physical objects. So to, I don't know, some bells, some drums and so on. So it has like many resonant filters going on. Our pattern. So let's ramp up the, because actually this synth really works well on high pitches. So it has that a bit of like FM tone, but we can change that like when we add tone, we can shape its tone, and then we can do a lot of shaping of the tone with the way those filters are laid out. So tonal spread we can add. Again, we are adding triggers, and then we can like have the noise envelope and the form. like the way each filter is amplified or has its resonance, then overall resonance, then we have warping, so how close they are to each other, or how spread, how far. We can cut the low end, the top end, or the top filters. Then again we can add pitch envelope, so we know this is just the tuning. And then we can add, like change its, I would say, the way it has that sound being modulated, so it's like a contour. So again, super interesting in my opinion, very like cool tones, like the possibilities are truly endless. Again, we can add some modulations, so let's add some LFO. Let's add some if I click 2 times, we have this sound being like reset. And here we are just adding how much noise there will be. We can set the density of noise. Such a crazy device. Okay, so this was mass. Let's then go to the third one, which is dust, which is like a noise generator. I will come back to the pattern one because I had something really nice here. Let me just here in this editor we can add like a low pass and high pass filter, but it doesn't work like the high pass and low pass, so it cuts up all the frequencies. It works this way that it kind of lets us still have the tonality. So if I would just apply the low pass filter, it sounds really nice. We still get the tonality, but we don't get that much high-end content, but the sound is not that dull. Okay, so let's focus on this crackle, which I have here on the dust. So this is noise generator, and I was able to like create this crackling sound. This is how many noise generator there is. Yeah, how dense is the sound, what's the sync. We can add some FM modulation. And we have like a ratcheting. Let's do something from scratch. Maybe like a hi-hat-ish pattern. So this is how it sounds. This is like a blur, which adds a diffusion to the sound. We can add FM modulation, change its tone. So now it's like a hi-hat. I like how the amp work, amp envelope. Super classic. And then we can add this ratcheting, which is like, you can hear the sound is being played like, and we can change then its the time. So we get these different rhythms, and then the density of the sound if we want something more sparse. Yeah, so this is dust. Let's noise synth, and then we have sampler, which is called Slate. It's like a granular sampler, and I have some samples here going on per loop. Let me just show you how this sounds, so you get how the original bits sound. Per loop. Let me just see, per loop 11. So this is this guy, and then I'm able to like maybe add some bits. So let me show you how this pattern was working. So I had just these small bits in a polymeter fashion with a bit of randomness, tuning. So I can we start, and I have grain delay, which I will. So this is just regular sample. So this is the different playing pattern. Like I can play it forward, play it reverse, play it ping pong way. Actually, reverse sounded nice. So this is pretty standard, but I can add granular synthesis and change like the timing or the speed of this granulars, and then we have the order. Let's play it from how the grain is gonna be played. So this is like a from front to back, and then we can change the order, and then what's the density, so how many grains will be played. Again, add diffusion. And we get this, like, in my opinion, interesting tones. Again, if we would add a bit of LFO to like tuning, to the randomization to start of the sample, then we will get different sounds. So this is classic electron, in my opinion, digitact beat programming, when there is a bit of randomness to the whole thing, and maybe LFO to start, so it moves all the time. Like, I'm not using Digitact that much at the moment, but I remember programming my beats on Digitact this way a lot, and in the whole context. And then let's adjust just the. Of course, you would have to have different sample, like for example on this instance I have so I have different sample. Magic mushrooms. Sounds good on itself as well, in my opinion. But if I add the grain, we get this kind of blurry, interesting tone. And again, I always advise people to like have another audio channel and just record yourself playing with that sound, as this will give you a lot of variation and modulation into the sound. And then at the end we have this effects, which are two effects actually. This is like a reverb and flux sampler. So when we have this editor going on, let's move back to that one. Yeah, we can send stuff to reverb. Now we can hear this reverb going on. Yeah, so we can shape it like maybe we just want. Again, this is made for the drum synth, so we get this really nice sounding reverb, which sounds good for the synth drums, and we can shape its diffusion part, so like how diffuses the sound when it hits the reverb, early reflection and late reflection, so the wash. And then there is this Flux sampler, so just let me turn this off. So it's like a additional sampler with grain synthesis, and its main idea is to add a bit of texture to the sound. So if we just focus over this and we enable it by clicking here, I have another sequencer just for this guy, and I can change the slices. So what it does is just takes the slice from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on step, and creates like a sampler, which here in this instance is pitched up, sorry, and has a little bit blur, and has its own way of working, but we can add grain synthesis. Now we have only this guy, and change. I don't know, I'm not convinced to that one pretty much, but anyways, it's the possibility. We can turn it off by setting 0 here. So this was all the devices that could be useful here, that when you have some nice sound already created, you can save it by pressing Command and left click. Yeah, so if I have nice sound, so on this instance I had this crackle sound, so Command and left, and I can have this being saved as a preset, as a JSON file. So when I will open my preset folders, which in this instance I will have tools and devices, Opal DAS, and let me just show in Finder, and then I have here this file, crackle JSON, so I can quickly come back to this file by adding it here, and and again I should have this, yeah, and I have this crackling sound. So this is all nice, but a really interesting thing is when we move to another pattern, for example, and then add randomizer. So we can randomize many things. We can randomize everything, just add surprise me, and we get something totally yeah. So it created some interesting bit, which I like. Yeah, and let's see what we have. Oh, pretty crazy. Some tone, but we can like play around with this all the time. Or another way of working with it will be like to program, for example, some beat. We have something, and then to just randomize the sound, clicking here. Nice, I like it. Awesome. Yeah, so we can go to another synth and then add some random thing, and then again click. And when we like it, we can wiggle it, so just to modulate it or randomize it a bit. We can create new patterns by just, let's have it on here. So again, we will just randomize and then click just this and it will give us the pattern. Yeah, so we have pattern, we can set the density of this pattern. So this is less dense, how many logs there will be, and then we can scramble. So just to like create variations, so the locks will be, triggers will be moved. Let's change the sound. I like it, it's a bit too loud. Super interesting and creative. If you are lacking some inspiration, it's just a nice way of playing with the randomizer or just tweaking some sounds, and you will get a lot of useful material, I'm pretty sure. And yeah, so that's Mighty Opal. And here is some interesting bit. If you buy any other our workshop or course or master class, or you join our community, you will get 40% off for all FORS devices. So this is yours, so you can get Opal and many of their other devices, which I will preview and review on this channel in the future. Thanks for watching, hope this was useful, and when you join community you will get all the samples and all the sounds I've created for this lesson as well. Till the next time,